If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or any cheap PC games, use the referral link in the description. It will take you over to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods, and if you use the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well. Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again, and welcome to another transfer talk video. It's been a while since I've done one, but there was a transfer that went through a couple of, well, actually yesterday, I think, as you see this, that really couldn't be avoided with regards talking about it. Obviously, you can tell who it is from the thumbnail and the pictures on screen right now. We'll also be covering something that I've been meaning to talk to you guys about for a few days and haven't yet been able to find the time to do so, with regards to Sam Allardyce taking the England manager's job. But we'll start with the transfer move of Gonzalo Higuain to Juventus for €90 million. £75.3 million, I believe, was the exact fee. It was a release clause, I'm led to believe, by media reports of €90 million in his contract that Juventus activated to bring Gonzalo Higuain from Napoli to Turin. It's a huge sum of money. And a few people have been, there's been a lot of controversy whether some people think he is genuinely worth that fee, other people think he isn't worth that fee and that it's ludicrous. But personally, I mean, obviously, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's the main part of this whole Transfer Talk series, is that I want to know what you guys think about the biggest moves in the world of football. And this is one of the biggest we've seen for a very long time. €90 million, although to be fair, it might not be the biggest we see even in this window, considering it might be the catalyst to push through the Paul Pogba deal, but we'll cover that as and when it happens. But Gonzalo Higuain, £75 million. He had a phenomenal season for Napoli last year, and he's been one of the best goal scorers in Europe for years. Yes, international level, he has perhaps let himself down on the biggest stage in the World Cup final in 2014, but as far as I'm concerned, Gonzalo Higuain is one of the best strikers in the game. Arguably, in the past couple of seasons, he's been perhaps, well, especially last year, you'd say maybe he's even the second best in Europe, considering Luis Suarez is kind of out and out the best striker in Europe. Maybe you'd say Higuain is arguably second best, with obviously the likes of Sergio Aguero having to come into the conversation with regards to that particular point. But Higuain's goal scoring record recently, especially since he joined Napoli, is undoubtedly one of the best in Europe as a whole. Last year he scored 38 goals in 42 games in all competitions, 36 in 35 in Serie A, which is just outstanding for a league as competitive as Serie A and as defensive as Serie A. For an individual player to score 36 goals in 35 games is practically unheard of in recent times. It's really, really impressive. You can't underestimate how impressive that is. And his entire time at Napoli, he scored 71 league goals in 104 games, 91 in 146 in all competitions. That's fantastic goal-scoring record. Yes, the market has changed in the past 2 years since Luis Suarez's deal from Liverpool to Barcelona went through. Luis Suarez went to Barcelona from Liverpool for £65 million. This is £10 million more, but the way the market has changed in the past 18 months to 2 years has been substantial. And a fee like this for a player as talented as Gonzalo Higuain, as consistent as Gonzalo Higuain at club level, is probably about right. I think the fee is worth £75 million. I think it's about where his value is in today's market, especially considering the season that he had last year. Juventus are obviously the best side in Italy and have been for a number of years, but it's on the European front as a whole in the Champions League that they've struggled to make the fullest impact. Obviously, they got to the final recently, but they again were defeated, and unfortunately for them, unable to get a European trophy for the fans that have been basically used to consistent success, especially at the domestic level, for like the past 5 or 6 years. So it's the thing that Juventus need next. Obviously, in Serie A, they're just going to continue to win over the next couple of years, you would presume, especially considering the way they've been making moves in this transfer window so far. They've signed players like Dani Alves, they've signed Miralem Pjanic, they've signed Gonzalo Higuain now, they signed Mehdi Benatia from Bayern Munich. They're building such an incredible team. Like, they're already by far the best team in Italy, but they need these extra players. There's been a lot of talk about whether Juventus actually need Higuain, but if they want to win the Champions League, they need players of this quality, and numerous players of this quality. Clearly, they've been underperforming in Europe for years now, and with transfers like this, they could make the step up and actually genuinely win the Champions League in the next couple of years. Dani Alves is one of the best right-backs still, attacking right-backs, attacking full-backs perhaps you'd say, in European football. And with the formation that they play with a 3-5-2, it practically suits them perfectly. Miralem Pjanic is one of the best central midfielders in Serie A. Mehdi Benatia was one of the best defenders in Serie A when he was at Roma. Hasn't necessarily seen as much first-team football at Bayern Munich as he might like to see, but will genuinely come back and just bolster the Italians' centre-back trio that has already been incredible for them over the past few years and proved again on international level how good they are at Euro 2016 recently with Giorgio Chiellini, Barzagli and Leandro Bonucci. Although Bonucci's been rumoured that might be leaving Juventus, but still, you know, he's a Juventus player for the time being. Maybe Mehdi Benatia is brought in to replace him as he might be leaving. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens for the rest of the window. But Juventus are just going from strength to strength. As if they weren't good enough already, they've added those players to make them even stronger. And I genuinely think they will be a force to be reckoned with in the Champions League again this year. And I'm hoping to fuck that Chelsea don't draw them in the group stage again, because that would be absolutely terrible for me as a Chelsea fan, because I think Juve are going to be, without doubt, up there with Barcelona and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich this year with regards favourites for winning the Champions League. Obviously, Atleti will be up there as well. They made a couple of strengthening signings too. But I think, basically, personally, I think Gonzalo Higuain is worth the fee that Juventus paid for him with regards his consistency, his goal-scoring record, and how crucial he could potentially be to Juventus in taking them on to the next level in the European scene. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. It's a huge deal, but still may not be the biggest one in the window. Still may not be the biggest one involving Juventus in this summer transfer window. But again, we'll cover Pogba as and when that deal happens. Moving on to something that is equally as controversial recently, to be completely honest. Although obviously no transfer fee has been involved that has caused the controversy with Higuain, but Sam Allardyce has been named the new England manager. Now, I am genuinely so very curious to see what you guys think of this, because on Twitter I've had people say yes, it's a fantastic move. I've had other people completely disagree, violently disagree, as people tend to do on Twitter whenever you announce your own opinion about something, that they don't think that Sam Allardyce is the right man for the England job. I'm personally pleased with the appointment of Sam Allardyce as England manager. I'm not really too sure why I think that, to be completely honest. There aren't, if you were going to go for an English manager, there aren't really many other options that you could go for. There were rumours that Steve Bruce might take the job. I would have been against that. I don't think Steve Bruce is a good enough manager to warrant the England role. There were talks about Eddie Howe, but I don't think that he's experienced enough yet in the managerial world to warrant a job of that magnitude, shall we say, on the international stage. You wouldn't necessarily sign Eddie Howe to one of the biggest sides in England domestically, let alone to, you know, one of the bigger national sides worldwide. Sam Allardyce, basically, there aren't any other options if you wanted to sign an English manager. There just aren't. Sam Allardyce, for me, I think probably was the best decision that the FA could have come to with regards a home manager. Obviously, there are other international managers we could have looked at, but I'm pleased that we went with an English guy. I'm also pleased that Sam Allardyce has the right, for me, mentality and the right passion about the job and his country to try and get the best out of the squad. He's dealt with big name players in the past, of course, players like Yuri Djorkaeff and Ivan Campo, etc. when he was at Bolton, and managed Nicolas Anelka quite well at Bolton as well, a player that is renowned to have been quite controversial himself in the dressing room. So I think he has the discipline to do well at international level. I think he has the respect of the players to do well at international level. And I think personally he's done a good enough job domestically to warrant having a crack at international level. If we gave Roy Hodgson the job, who'd basically not really done anything of any worthwhile note at all at club level, other than maybe taking Fulham to the Europa League or UEFA Cup final as it was then, and failing at Liverpool, then surely Sam Allardyce is a step up from Roy Hodgson as far as I'm concerned. He was fantastic, in my opinion, when he was at Bolton and really stabilised that club. Unfortunately, they've destabilised themselves since he moved on. Was perhaps slightly underappreciated at Newcastle, although he didn't necessarily succeed as well at Newcastle as he might have hoped, or Newcastle fans hoped that he would have. I think he did well at Blackburn as well, and at West Ham United I thought he did particularly well too. Was perhaps unlucky to lose his job there. Obviously Slaven Bilic has come in and excelled at West Ham United, but they have spent a lot of money since Slaven Bilic has come in. The squad that Bilic has, at least the starting 11 that Bilic has, is considerably different to the one that Sam Allardyce had at West Ham. They've definitely added to that, and it is those new players that have really changed West Ham's fortunes around. So I don't think you can really blame Sam Allardyce or say that Sam Allardyce didn't necessarily achieve at West Ham what Bilic did, because obviously Bilic has had the extra help. But that's not to diminish what Bilic has done at West Ham, by the way. He's done a fantastic job, absolutely unbelievable job. But Sam Allardyce, in my opinion, also did an impressive job at the Boleyn Ground. And at Sunderland, that club were doomed, absolutely doomed, until he stepped in and he turned them around. They weren't necessarily extremely impressive, but Sam Allardyce is the reason that Sunderland are still in the Barclays Premier League next season, or the English Premier League, sorry. It's going to take me a while to get out of the habit of calling it the Barclays Premier League, I think, but Sam Allardyce is the main reason why that club was turned around. And I'm genuinely pleased that he's got the job. I'm genuinely encouraged about what that could mean for England's future. Whether we'll be competitive enough for Russia 2018, I don't know. But for Euro 2020, I'd be particularly looking forward to Sam Allardyce being in charge for that tournament as well. I think he could be there for a considerable amount of time. He's in his mid-60s, I think, Sam Allardyce. I think he's 66 currently. So he's still got plenty of time in his managerial career. In fact, no, he's 61. I just checked on his wiki. So he's still got plenty of time to impact things in either this job or later jobs in his career. And I personally believe that Sam Allardyce will do well with England. Whether he'll do well enough to actually win us a tournament is extremely debatable, and I don't think he will. But I think under Sam Allardyce, we could see regular quarter-final, semi-final appearances at international tournaments. Again, you guys will have to let me know your comments in your thoughts in the comments section down below. There is a huge split in the England fan base with regards to people saying yes, it's a good move, people saying no, it's a terrible move, as there has been a big split with the Gonzalo Higuain move. Some people saying yes, he's worth it, some people saying no, he's not worth it, it's a ludicrous fee. So again, be respectful with each other's opinions in the comment section. Everyone is allowed an opinion. Just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean that they deserve abuse. So please be kind and respectful in the comment section. I know on YouTube and Twitter that's a lot to ask for, but still, I'll ask it nonetheless. But that's all for today's Transfer Talk episode. Thank you very much for watching. Check the channel page itself for any FIFA content you may have missed over the past few days. There'll have been a Formula 1 video go up on my second channel earlier on this evening as well. So make sure you check that out over on Chesnoid Plays. There will be a link in the description down below to that, and I will be streaming Formula 1 again over on Twitch a little bit later this evening too, so follow the link in the description to my Twitch for that too. But Newcastle United career mode continuing to go from strength to strength on this channel. My player continuing to go from strength to strength as well. There'll be another episode of that tomorrow. There was the Europa League final yesterday. If you missed that, definitely check that out. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't to this point, and I'll see you next time.